Welcome back to our interview series. My name is Andrea Kelly here with Reclamation and Restoration Ministries Incorporated. If you don't know anything about us, please check the description box below. We also have our address, we have our telephone number down there, we have our website as well, so you can do your information, find out what we are all about. I have another special guest. We've been doing a lot of interviews lately. We've been interviewing Black entrepreneurs, coaches, mentors, Black men in general, and we've been talking to them about the violence and the crime and everything in the city of Baton Rouge. So we have Mr. Roderick here. How are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Tell everyone what you do, occupation, and things like that.
Well, occupation right now, I am the head band director at East Feliciana High School in Jackson, Louisiana. So focus on giving the kids something else to do in life, extracurricular activities that can also progress in life longer if they put the effort in.
And how long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been teaching band since 2017, but I also was a high school football and basketball coach for the last 4 years.
Okay. So what made you decide to get into the whole coaching and mentoring space?
I've always coached since the early 2000s, and then I worked at Jetson Correctional Institute back in 2002, 2003. I was injured on that job by 15 of those youths, and that drove me to want to help the youth even more. I could have been the person that said, hey, I don't like kids no more, but no, I wanted to help out and do outreach things and speak with at-risk juveniles.
How has that experience been? Just being in that space and mentoring, at risk young men or Black young men at that. How has that experience been for you?
Initially, I don't want to say troubling because it's not troubling when you come from certain areas and you lived in those areas and you was born in those areas. So if you've seen it or you'd have been through it, so you know how to reach them. A lot of the kids and a lot of youth, it's not that they don't have anything to do. Their outlet is not knowing how to speak out, not knowing how to channel the aggression. So the way that they channel their aggression is through the quote unquote violence or aggressiveness, and that's not the way to be. So, but I don't find a problem. I didn't have a problem with speaking with the kids and being a mentor to some of the youth because I get some that come back to me today and tell me they're doing something different in their life. So that's good.
What are some of the encounters that you've had with some of these young men that kind of made you really fully understand the mentoring and the coaching and the purpose behind what you were doing?
I'm gonna speak first on the coaching side. When you coach, you're more than just a coach. You're a father figure. You become that because a lot of the kids, not that they're in single parent homes, and a lot of them are, but you become a father figure to them. Sometimes they can speak with you and they can't speak with their father at home or speak with their mother about situations. Outside of that, kids that they just need. And so when you see that, it kind of touches on you. So you're that father, you're that mentor, you're that counselor. Even in teaching and education, a lot of teachers and educators are counselors. Not on purpose, but you are. And you tend to be that shoulder that they need to lean on. And the gratification is when they walk across the stage. Or the gratification is the thank you at the end of their end all be all for that cycle of their life. Because the cycle doesn't stop, it continues. School doesn't stop. And when it does stop for you, then now you're in adulthood. So how are you going to handle your adulthood? That's what's important.
And so you touched on, a lot of young people not being able to express their aggression and the things, that they go through mentally, emotionally, and they express it in a way that may be violent. What do you think is the main cause of a lot of that aggression that we see in these young men?
As cliche as it's going to sound, nowadays it's social media. Social media has become the forefront of why violence is where it is today when it comes to our youth. And we have some adults that indulge in the same issues as youth. So we can't just say our youth today are the issue because of this. We have adults that's doing the same thing. And a lot of the youth are looking at some adults that are being more aggressive, being more violent when you don't have to, when you could talk it out. Even if you don't talk it out, you could just walk away. you can walk away from it. But I think social media, because they see, oh, this rapper is on this and put this out there, now I'm going to act like this, I'm going to act like that, and you don't have to.
So it kind of sounds like it starts with the influence.
Yeah.
How do you think more people or people in the community can be more of a better influence to not just these young men, but just in general? How do you think we can be a better influence to them?
I call it bridging the gap. And how do you bridge the gap? You go back to the days and the ways that it was back when we were younger, right? With Jeffrey Johnese, if I can say his full name. We grew up together on the same street. When we was in middle school, I would get up in the morning, get dressed, and go to his house. And his grandmother and mother was making homemade biscuits and stuff before we went to school. Or if someone got in trouble, it wasn't a problem with someone in the community taking care of you until your parent got you. Or it wasn't a problem for the teacher or principal to apply discipline to you without it being a problem, or that teacher or that other parent worry about you coming back to shoot them, stab them, or fight them because they'll discipline you. So if you're able to be disciplined by other people, and it doesn't have to be physical, it could be verb. The verbiage can be a good discipline tool. And a lot of times nowadays, you have to watch what you say to a child or an adult, because then you may not make it back afterwards. It's sad to say, but that's the times
That's
that
real.
we're living in. And so how do we counteract it? To me, that is the problem. How do we counteract? How do we bridge that gap? How do we make that come together? And there's ways to make it come together. I know a lot of times, a lot of organizations walk the neighborhoods. Well, we can't walk the neighborhood once or twice. When we're walking the neighborhoods, what are we doing while we are walking the neighborhoods? Are we actually having conversation, meeting them where they're at? Or are we having a guidance counselor type of conversation? I feel if we meet them where they are, then they're more open to you in receiving what it is that you're saying. I'm a former police officer. I got out the car and play basketball with someone on the street or throw the football, because that's just something I love sports. So I think that's another thing. Being a police is not all about making an arrest. It's not all about making an arrest. And if you're community policing, it's about you being in that community that you're working, and you're getting to know the people and letting the people get to know you. You see it on the movies, but it can happen in real life. So that's my take on that.
So you mentioned like the community being like playing a hand in the lives of, the youth and, your relationship with Jeffrey and everything as well. We have, as an organization, we do have a monthly community forum where we bring the community together to strategize and try to come up with a plan of action to, just try to reduce and prevent the crime and the violence and everything. How effective do you think it would be if the community were to get involved?
I think it can be effective, and it can work both ways. It can be a catch-22, but if the community is being proactive versus reactive, if you're proactive, then you're already going to the fire before the fire starts. You see it brewing, now you're going there. When you're reactive, I'm doing it after the fact. Who wants to talk to me after the fact, right? It didn't happen, so the tempers are already flared up. The situation has taken place. So who wants to talk and speak after the fact? No, let me talk to you before it gets to that. Let me see what's going on before it gets to that. And I think that is more than just with juveniles, with adults as well. Because I feel adults play a vital part in what these juveniles are doing today. So
Within your coaching, and I keep calling you a mentor because it's kind of, but we do have mentoring opportunities within the organization as well. As a mentor, what is something that you would say to someone who may be watching, who maybe want to get more involved in the organization, maybe want to get involved in helping, one of the young men that would be in our program? As a mentor, what would you say to someone who's watching?
I would say get involved with it, because you never know what it is that you can give. You never know what it is that someone can take from you, and it turns into a positive, right? Especially if you are an adult, a male adult, and a black male adult that has been through things. You know what road you went down. Do you want to see that person that's going down that road continue to go down that path, or do you want to say something to them and do things with them to break them off? Let's change the track. Let's pull the switch and make the track go that way versus going straight. Let's make it go left. Make it go left so you can get back right. And I think that if people get involved more with being mentors, that it can help tremendously. Because again, the kids have something to look forward to. And I think that people are more receptive to, all right, I could believe him because he did X, Y, Z, which I think is sad, because just because you may have not ever been in trouble doesn't mean that you don't know. You were smart enough not to get in trouble. You may have done something and it just worked out for you. But just because you've never been in trouble doesn't mean that you can't help. So I think that's something big too. I know a lot of times here in Baton Rouge, it's about the who's who, right? Even when it comes to the mentoring deals, it's about the who's who name is attached to it. It shouldn't be that way, because death is attached to everyone.
Everyone, no matter
Jail
what.
doesn't care about if your name is big or your name is small, or you're this council person or you're this council woman. It doesn't mean nothing. Do something that break the laws and see when you go to jail if you're not treated the same way as that person who you should have been talking to. So that's my take on that.
What would you say to a young man who's probably watching this? We do have the project specifically for 18 to 24-year-olds, and a lot of the people that we've run across, their concern was, that male being 18 to 24, they feel like they're too far gone. But for somebody who may be watching this, just maybe if it's one person, two people, for them who are watching, what would you say to kind of encourage them to get involved in mentoring and the project and programs like this?
That is never too late. Don't speak to the person that feel that way, that, if they're 18, they're 21, they're 24 years old, they're grown. They're grown in age, but are they grown mentally?
Right.
So you can bring mental support, emotional support, be empathetic and not sympathetic to the person. Meaning, I'm not going to tell you something just because I want you to hear what you want to hear. No, I want to tell you something that's going to change your life. And me talking to you may change my life. I can be your mentor and still have things going on. Doesn't mean, that I'm better than you. So I feel that they shouldn't look at the age with wanting to help. You could be 30 years old and that person may need to hear something. And when you speak it, it strikes them. How many people have been to Angola or been to a federal prison, and an older person in jail has spoken to them, and when they got out, they changed a new leaf. Or while they were in there, they changed a new leaf and was able to get out. And when they got out, they became successful. Now, I think that I have a issue with that when it comes to our state and local government, that I have to be locked up and go to jail in order to become successful in the things that someone who is locked up, they're going through programs. But it's hard for me to get into a program and I'm out here. I think that that's a problem too. So it's a lot of different things in ways where the restoration program, I feel, is good. And it'll be good for a lot of people. Yeah.
We do appreciate you. We appreciate everyone who wants to sit next to us and talk to us about, just moving forward. I do believe that a lot of things are holding this city back from progressing, and programs like this, people like you, mentors, just all of the moving parts of these organizations and these projects, we can move forward if we all come together. And so we want to thank you for just everything you do, even outside of this interview, just, helping young men and mentoring and coaching and things like that. We do want to stress the importance of checking out our website and making sure you go to our website, getting the information that you need. If you are a 18 to 24-year-old male and you want to be a part of this project, fill out the application. We will give you a call. We will give you all the information that you need. Mentors as well. Check out the information below. And if you want to be involved in an interview, then make sure you check us out as well. We thank you for your time. If you want to check out our other interviews, make sure you go to our YouTube channel and our Instagram. RR Ministries Inc., and we will talk to you in our next interview.